What's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur?
There is no secret that the majority of the money that goes into startups goes into male-founded companies. As a female founder, being a CEO and a co-founder of a startup, and at the same time working with a taboo subject that is perceived as a female issue, has really been a problem to convince specifically investors that are often, in many cases, middle-aged men. That's also no secret. So really make them understand that this is a big problem and this is a big health issue that is a threat to public health, that we see these big increasing numbers in infertility. So that has definitely been one of the biggest challenges, to convince them that this is not just a nice to have female issue that can be put on the side. Because one of the biggest reasons why we started Bumpy, and one of our biggest missions, is to break the taboo. So we are always very upfront, whoever we talk to, whether that's investors or partners, that we're telling our own story, that we're basing this company out of self-lived experience. And even if the person we're talking to not always have the experience themselves, most of them know someone that had this kind of issue, so that they can connect to the issue. And that's really like building up that storytelling and make people understand that this is affecting a lot more people than you actually think about.
And what's been your biggest surprise running a startup?
I would say that my biggest surprise is definitely that things takes a lot longer than you're expecting when you're starting. You can always double the timelines for everything you're doing, whether that comes to raising money or launching a product, launching a new feature of the product. Everything takes so much longer. And especially also running a small company with a few employees, there is resource issues as well, of course. So yeah, the time it takes to actually get the product out into the market and all around that.
Yeah, I remember starting a company that, for me, the biggest surprise was that everybody expected I knew the answer to everything.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And that ties into what we just talked about, this thing that you have to wear all the different hats, things that you've never dealt with before. You're all of a sudden supposed to, people see you as the expert. I'm the expert of infertility for sure, but I'm not the expert of reading through all the legal agreements. Luckily, we can take in consultants that help us with that.
What do you think that you do particularly well as a CEO?
I think that something that is a great skill to have when you're running a small startup or when you're a CEO in general is to not be afraid of failures. Because one thing that we do know is certain is that when you're starting a company, things will fail, whether that's a business model or if that's a product launch, but you will come across failures. And I think that I'm not so prestigious about failures or admitting that I'm doing them and moving ahead to the next challenge and kind of leaving that behind. So I think that that's something that I didn't know before I started Bumpy, that was a great skill to have.